Good afternoon, guys, and welcome to another webinar in our series Odoo for SMEs. I am Jerry. I'll be your host for the webinar. Joining me is Jayesh. He is our Odoo expert for today, and he's going to teach us all about Odoo accounting. This webinar is specifically focused on GST compliance, e-invoicing, and e-way billing. So, welcome, Jayesh.
Hi Jerry. Good afternoon. So let me introduce myself. My name is Jayesh, and I'm one of the direct sales team leader over here in Odoo, India. So today's topic is to discuss about the Indian accounting, like how you can create e-invoice, how you can set up the e-way bill, and the same how like you can file the GST returns. So let's move further. So today's agenda is like how, first of all, I'll tell you like how you can set up e-invoice and e-way bill, and then I'll show you like how you can configure those in the form of journals whenever you are creating the e-invoice. And then I'll show you like how you can create the e-invoice, e-way bill, and if you want to cancel those invoices which you have been generated, then how you can do that, followed by the GST setup and how you can file the GST returns and all.
Yeah, I'd just like to add one little thing. Guys, if you have any questions, the first half of the webinar will be Jayesh explaining to us, and then the second half will be taking questions from you. So there will be a Q&A. You can add your questions in the chat and we'll get back to them in the later half. So yeah.
Okay. So the first topic is like how you can setting up your e-invoice and e-way bill seamlessly. So let me show you. So first of all, you need to do the setup of e-invoice and e-way bill. Like we have a detailed documentation. So you need to log in in the GST portal. First, you need to do this setup, like you need to register your API registration. So we are using the third-party services of GSP, which is Terra Software Limited. So you need to create your API details over here. You need to enter your username over here and the password, which you can have you can use alphanumeric password over there, and the same you need to verify from the GST portal. So the same username and password you should enter here itself in Odoo. So the moment you enter the same credential and user ID in Odoo, you need to verify that. So once you do the verification, you will be getting an alert like it's successfully verified. So let me show you in the database how we can do that. So this is the database which I have been created. So I'll go to the accounting application first, and inside the configuration settings. So first of all, you need to set up this kind of details like e-invoice. As you can see, the username and the password which I have entered, those are the same username and password which you have created in the GST portal. You need to enter that, and you need to verify the username and password both. So the moment I click on verify username and password, you can see API credentials validated successfully. So once you get this message, that means you have successfully validated your e-invoice details, and the same thing you need to set up with the e-way bill also. So for e-way bill, we have certain documents over here. So in that also you need to use the GSP provider as Terra Software Limited. You need to create the username, you need to enter the username and the password over here. So the same thing which you are created over here needs to be updated inside the Odoo database. So over here you need to enter the username, password, and the same thing you need to do again, like verify username and password. And again, if there is any kind of issues or error at a time of setting up, so it will give you the error like it's not been verified, then you need to go to the GST portal and again like you need to verify that. So once it's successfully verified, then you can able to create the e-invoice and e-way bill directly from Odoo itself from a single click. So in order to raise e-invoice and e-way bill, you should be requiring a IAP credit. So what is IAP credits? So IAP credits is something like whenever you are creating a e-invoice or e-way bill, so you are sending a request to the GST portal, GSP provider. So whenever you do a API call, so for each successful transaction, one credit will be deducted. So whenever you creating a database, so you will be getting around 200 credits, right? And after that you need to purchase those IAP credits. So that's like if you purchase 10,000 credits, it would cost you around 80 paisa per credits. It's like it's a normal price. So once you set up all those things, right, and I'll show you how you can create the eInvoice. So I'll move towards accounting, and inside the journals, so you need to set up those customer, like the invoice journals, you need to activate the eInvoice option. So under the advanced settings, you will be getting the option of electronic eInvoice, GST invoice. So the moment you enable this option, then only you will able to create the eInvoice. So whenever you are creating an eInvoice, there are prerequisite norms, like the customer should have a registered GST number, then only you will able to create the eInvoice. So if the customer or consumer is not having the GST details, then you don't need to create an eInvoice. So that all things you can, like you can at a time of GST filing, you can push those data under the B2B and B2C section. So once I do this setup, so the electronic eInvoice I have activated. So whatever invoices I will be creating, all the invoices will be as a eInvoice. So let us create a invoice. So first I'll show you, like from the quotation, I'll be creating a quotation, confirming those quotation into sales order, then delivering them, and then I'll be creating the invoice. So first let me create a quotation. I'll be selecting a customer. I'll add a product, acoustic block screen, GST details, and I can confirm. So the moment I confirm, you can see like a delivery challan has been created, and the inventory team will be notified. The inventory team, if the product is available, the inventory team can deliver the product. So I'll validate. So the moment I validate, it means the product has been delivered to the end customer, and then I can click on create invoice. So the invoice has been created in the draft stage. I can check all those details and I can confirm. So the moment I confirm, you can see a banner over here. The invoice will be soon to send to a GST eInvoice. So either I can click on process now, or else I can refresh this window. So the moment I refresh this tab, you can see the electronic invoicing status. So previous it was showing sending, now it is showing as sent. So sent means eInvoice has been successfully created, and in the left side, in the right side, you can see the log. So at what time the invoice has been created, from which sales order it has been created, and when it has been validated. So if you want to check the preview of the eInvoice, so I can click on print invoice. So this is how the preview looks like. So you can see the acknowledgement number, the IRN number, and the QR code. So this QR code consists of all the details, like the customer, vendor details, the product details, and the HSN quantity. So this QR code is must for whenever you are creating an eInvoice, right? So the moment we created the eInvoice, the next step is to create an eWay bill. So whenever like you are transporting any of the products from one location to another location, so you should be preparing a document. So the document is termed as the eWay bill. So it mentioned like in that document, it will be mentioning like the product name, the description, what are the quantities we are moving from which state to, like which location to which location. So whenever you are creating a eWay bill, so there should be one product line item inside that. So if you add all the service items, then it will not allow you to create an eWay bill. So for creating an eWay bill, at least there should be one product item inside there. And before creating, like at the time of creating that, you should enter the pin code, like the location pin, the customer pin code, and your pin code. So based on the distance only, it will create the eWay bill. So let's see how we can create the eWay bill. So over here you can see a tab of eWay bill. So I'll click on that eWay bill tab. So here are few details. So you need to mention like what is the transportation mode. So there are different radio buttons like managed by transporter, road, rail, air, or something. So let's assume we are transporting this product from one location to another location, like to the customer location. So I'll be selecting this as a road. So system will ask me the distance. So if you know the accurate distance, you can enter the distance, like how much kilometer is there. If you don't know the distance, then you can keep it 0. So the moment you keep it as 0, automatically system will calculate it the distance from the GST portal, and like that you don't need to enter it manually. And I can enter the vehicle number, which is regular, and I need to enter the vehicle number. So I need to enter the vehicle number of the vehicle which I am forwarding to the customer location. So I'm adding the vehicle number, and you can see the smart button like send eWay bill. So I can click on send eWay bill, and the same banner you will be getting again, like the eInvoice, the invoice will be soon sent to the eWay bill section. So I'll click on process now. So the moment I clicked on process now, you can see in the right side the log has been created, like eWay bill has been sent with a particular validity. So whenever you create a eWay bill, it will be having a particular validity, like till when the particular eWay bill is valid, right? So if I take a printout of this particular invoice, so this is how it looks like. So it will be having the eWay bill number and until which date and time it is valid, and you can find the HSN summary and every other details. So this is how the invoicing, like the eWay bill and the e-invoice looks like, format looks like. So let's suppose like now you have created the e-invoice and eWay bill. So let's assume like there was an error in the e-invoice, and suppose like you want to cancel this e-invoice. So how you will do that? So over here in the same tab, you can see the option of cancel reason. So I can, from the drop down, I can select any of the cancel reason, like order has been cancelled, or it has the damage, any damaged product I have sent, so it has been cancelled. So I'll be adding the remarks, order cancelled, and I can click on request EDI cancellation. So the moment I click on request EDI cancellation, so the e-invoice which we have created will be called off, and the electronic invoicing, you can see the status is cancelled. So the moment you cancel the e-invoice, the eWay bill also will be cancelled, and now you can see the status of the particular invoice which will not have any details. So earlier this was the details which was having, which consist of the IRN number, eWay bill and the QR code, and the moment we cancel those invoice, you can see all those details which has been removed. So the same thing will be reflected in the GST portal itself. So this is how like you can create the e-invoice, eWay bill, and if you want to cancel e-invoice or eWay bill, you can do that. So moving towards the next topic. So that is mastering the GST setup and filing the GST returns in Odoo. So how you can do that? So whenever you are creating the GST returns or GST filing, you need to make some setup inside the GST portal as well as in the Odoo. So this is the documentation for that. So you need to log in first in the GST portal, and you need to set up, like you need to manage the API access. You need to enable that, those kind of API access. It will be valid for a particular period of time, like for 4 hours or for 14 days. So every 14 days or every monthly basis, you need to activate those kind of changes inside the GST portal. And the same thing you need to verify with Odoo itself. So under the Odoo also you need to do those kind of setup. I'll go to configuration, under the settings. So you can see Indian GST. So I can enter the GST username. So whenever you enter all those details, so every time whenever you file the GST return, system will ask for an OTP. So the moment you enter the OTP, then only the GST return will be filed. So I can click on send OTP, and the OTP will be generated, and I can enter the OTP on that. So for this also you should purchase, you require the IAP credits for GST filing. e-invoice and eWay bill. So for all these three process, you should require the IAP credits. So let's see like how you can create, like how you can see the GST reports and GST filings and all. So I'll go to accounting. Inside the reporting, you can able to see the GST return periods. So over here, for a particular periods, you can able to see what are the like past details we have been filed. So for the month of April, we have already filed, and for the month of May also, like I have generated. So let's move towards for the month of May. So under the GSTR 1, so the GSTR report 1 consists of all the sales invoice. It can be B2B sales, B2C sales, every sales. So whatever sales outward you are doing, each and everything will be mentioned under the GSTR 1 report. So you can click on verify GSTR 1 reports. So over here you can see the bifurcation of all the invoices. It can be B2B invoice, it can be B2C large, B2C small. What are the, if you have created any kind of credit notes or debit notes, so each and every transactions will be bifurcated over here. And suppose like if you have created an like the invoice wrong, so you can see a banner over here like SGST and CGST are not applicable for interstate transaction. So if there is any kind of error in the invoice, so system will create an alert like there is some issue in the particular invoice. I need to rectify that invoice, and then only I will able to file the GST returns. So here I have get an banner like inside the interstate transaction I have entered SGST and CGST. So this is the invoice. So you can see the country like the state is West Bengal and our company state is Telangana, and the GST I have entered is 18% GST. It should be IGST. So I had entered it wrong. So for that reason, like system is validating me like you need to change this particular, in order to file the GST return, you need to change this particular tax slab. So I'll click on reset to draft. I'll change the tax percentage over here. IGST 18%, and I can confirm. So the moment I confirm, I make those kind of changes, you can see the banner has been removed. So slowly and gradually, like whenever like in any of the invoice, if there is any kind of validation error, system will trigger an alert like in this particular journal, in this particular invoice there is an error, you need to check it out. So you can verify all those details for the particular month of May, and you can push this transaction to the GST portal. So the moment you click on push to the GST portal, you can see the status it's sending, and in the right side for every action you are doing, for everything there will be a log will be created. So you can see the log like GSTR1 has been successfully sent, waiting for reception, it has been being processed, if any of the details are partially matched or fully matched. So each and every details will be mentioned over here. And if you want to see the bifurcation of all the GST invoices like the B2B invoices, B2C invoices and the HSN code, so we have the option of view over here. So in the form of Excel sheet, you will be getting all those bifurcations like the company GST number, the invoice number, invoice date, the invoice value and everything. So over in the bottom you can see like B2B, these are the B2B invoices which you have been created inside the system. These all are the B2C invoices which you have been created inside the system. So for each and every details you can able to see over here. If you want to check the HSN summary details, so like for each product there will be an HSN details, HSN code attached to that. So if you want to see the HSN summary, you can able to see the HSN summary over here. So whatever invoices you have been created inside the Odoo, it can be B2B, it can be B2C. So for all those, it would be creating an HSN summary. So based on this HSN code only, you will be filing the GST returns. So for filing the GSTR1, these all are the mandatory things you need to check it out. So the moment you verify all those things, then you can click on mark as filed. So the GSTR1 has been successfully filed, and so like the sales related transactions, everything will be filed over here. So So like the GST return filing differs from period to period. Like you can file monthly or you can file quarterly also. So it depends on the company structure, company policies, on the company turnover. So some of the companies are filing on quarterly basis, some of them are filing on a monthly basis. So currently what we are doing is on the monthly basis I am showing you. So for the month of May we have filed the GSTR 1, and now we can see for the GSTR 2B reports. So GSTR 2B reports consist all those details regarding the purchase, the ITC credits, like it will show you related what all are the purchases you have done, whether the vendor has uploaded the invoice, whether you have uploaded the bills or not. So all those things you can push from the GST portal. So over here you can see fetch GSTR 2B summary, and I can fetch again over here. So these are the vendor bills which has been created for the month of May, and I can able to see the reconciled bills, like what are the bills has been reconciled inside the Odoo. So you can see there are three options, like bills not in GSTR2. So this is something like you have registered the vendor bills in your system, but the vendor like the customer didn't file the GST return. It can be several policies, policies like they would fall under the quarterly filing, you would be filing on monthly basis. So at the end of the quarter they will be filing they will be uploading the particular invoices. So that comes under bills not in GSTR2B, GSTR2 not in Odoo. Suppose they have filed the GST bill, the GST bills, but inside the system, inside the Odoo, you didn't make those entry. So you can add those entries over here. And the third one is partially match. So over here what happens, so it can be of the date is not matching or the amounts are not matching. So whenever you open the particular bill, you will get a notification. So you can see like bill date as per the GSTR 2B is 15th of March. So in the GST portal the vendor has uploaded the bill date as 15th of March, but in our system we have made the entry as 21st of April. So I'll change those details. I can confirm this. So the moment I change this, it will move the status from partially matched to fully matched. So this is how you can manage the GSTR 2B reconciliation. So over here you will be getting the option if all the detail has been fetched. So it will show fully matched. As of now, some of the transactions has been matched and some of the transactions are not matched. So it shows partially matched. And the last one is GSTR 3. So this consists of all the sales and purchase. So whatever sales you are doing, whatever purchase you are doing, each and every transactions will be recorded over here, and you can able to see the ITC credits. So ITC credits like input tax credit. So whenever you do any kind of purchase, you pay the GST, right? So you can claim those GST. So that type of GST and everything will come under the IGS like ITC. So you can claim that ITC. So whatever tax you have been paid to the vendor, you can claim back. So 3.1, this consists of all the outward related supplies. It can be B2B, it can be B2C, credit note, debit note. So you can see like the CGST, SGST, IGST, and if you are paying any kind of additional cess, all those things you can add it over here. And if you have add any kind of purchase vendor bills, so you can able to see the vendor bill credit. If I click on this particular IGST details, I have registered 3 vendor bills of different vendors. So the debit amount, it has 18% IGST. So this tax consists of the total value of 14,423 rupees. So this I can claim from the GST portal. And the fifth one is like it's a value of exempt nil rated non GST supplies. So it can be like if you are from the SEZ zone or any other zone, so in that scenario the GST will not be applicable. So that all things comes under that. So once you can verify it from here, so this reports is generated from the GST portal itself. So the moment you upload the GSTR return 1 and GST 2B, so it will consolidate all those things in the GST portal, and the moment you file the GST 3 from the GST portal, you can close those entries. So you can see update and post closing entry. So whatever amount you are paying over there, you need to just simply post the entry over here and you can close that. So the moment you post that entry, for the particular month, you have successfully filed the eWay bill, GST invoice, GSTR 1, GSTR 2B and GSTR 3. So this is how you can see the GST reports of different sections like GSTR 1, GSTR 2B and GSTR 3. So this is how you can completely manage with the help of Odoo. Within no time, within no time, you can easily create the eInvoice, eWay bill and the GST returns. If you don't if you are using any other software or any other system, then you should be creating the invoicing in another system, and you need to create those and make those entries inside the GST portal also. So you need to manually create the e-invoice again, you need to fetch those details. So instead of doing that, you can completely rely on any of the over here, and with the help of the single click, you can able to create all those things. I hope I have covered all those things, and if you have any queries or concerns, we can start you can post your questions over the comment box.
Thank you very much, Jayesh. That was very insightful and very straightforward. Awesome session.
Thank you. Thank you.
We do have a few questions, but what's exciting is that the audience members themselves are answering and helping each other out. Guys, that's great. That's very exciting for us. So thank you. Keep it up. I'll still run the questions through Jayesh so that he can add a few details if he wants. So for the first question, we can go with if we select manage by transporter for eWay bill, what are the options?
So if you select manage by transporter, it will the part B will be prepared by the transporter itself. So system will create an alert this GST part B will be created by the transporter itself. So suppose you are making any kind of outward towards any of the the logistic person, it can be VRL or it can be another thing. So in that case, you will not be aware regarding on which vehicle the particular goods are moving. So in that case, you just need to enter manage by transporter. Which transporter you are sending, you need to enter the transporter name. That's it.
Next one, approx how many IAP credits needed to create eWay bill and eInvoice?
So for each eWay bill, for each API call successful transaction, 1 credit will be consumed.
Okay.
So initially you will be getting 200 credits, and after that you need to purchase the credits. So we have different packs like 10,000, 5,000 credits. So based on that, for each eInvoice or eWay bill you are creating, for that 1 credits will be consumed.
Will the HSN SAC code be auto-populated automatically?
Yes, we do have the feature. So under the setting, you can see enable HSN validation. So the moment I enable this HSN SAC validation, based on the number I am entering, it will fetch all those details.
We have one comment that says debit notes are not reflecting in the GSTR 3B report.
No, it will reflect. So whenever you raise a debit note, it will reflect under the GSTR 3B.
Okay.
So if you have any specific related concerns, you can just drop an email so that we can check it out, or else you can reach the support team as well.
Is IAP credit depend on monthly invoicing?
No, it doesn't depend on the monthly invoicing. It depends on how much invoices you are creating. That's it. So if you are creating on a monthly basis, you are creating 100 invoices, so it would consume only 100 credits, and it doesn't have any kind of expiry.
Okay. So we have a comment that says why are bills sitting in draft, then we have to delete it? That should not be the case.
I didn't get you. Settings in the draft.
It would be great if you could clarify that particular question.
Yes.
We'll get back to it. Okay. Next one. Ideally, system should not allow users to select CGST, SGST in case of interstate sales. However, it seems like system does not have this check at the stage and only at the time of filing GSTR1.
No, we have the provision, like you need to set up the fiscal position. So let me show you how you can set up the fiscal position. So under the accounting, we have the fiscal positions over here. So under the interstate, we can enable this like detect automatically. We can set up the federal states. I can select all, select. From all the state, I'll be removing my company state. So suppose like I have my company which I have been created, it's in Telangana. So I'll be removing Telangana from here and I can save. So the moment I set up this fiscal position, automatically whenever you create an invoice for other state, it will fetch IGST only. Irrespective of whatever GST return, like GST percentage you have mentioned inside the product master, it will pick from the fiscal position.
Okay. So next one, can we raise eInvoice after invoice date?
After?
Invoice date.
Yes, you can. So the moment you create the invoice, if you want like with the help of small customization, what we can do is like you can raise all the invoice and we can set up a timer scheduler. So during the night, like at after 7 or after any time, we can push all those invoices which have been created for the GST portal. So at the same time, like you can run the scheduler. So the moment you run the scheduler, all the invoices which you have been processed, which is having the GST details, will be created as an e-invoice.
Okay. Next one, how to check IAP credit balance?
So if you want to check IAP credit balance, you can go towards settings. Under the IAP, over here you can able to see view my services. So over here you can able to see what are the IAP credits you have purchased and what is the available balance from here. Yes.
Okay. How to capture IGST claim for imported? We import from a supplier from abroad, but clearing is done by DHL or FedEx, and in their invoice only import IGST is charged.
So it would be under like LUT or something kind of thing. So we have the export. So whenever you create a contact, so let me show you. The customer setup. So over here under the GST treatment, you can able to see like registered business, regular, composition, deemed products, supplier, overseas kind of thing. So you can use this particular GST treatment. So by using this GST treatment, the whatever GST you are paying will be shown under the particular section of the GST returns. So this is the main things, like we need to take care. If the contact is of overseas, you need to select the GST treatment as overseas. If he is from the special economic zone, you need to select the GST treatment as special economic zone. So based on this only, it will create those kind of reports inside the GST returns.
All right.
Yes.
Next one. Can we cancel eWay bill and e-invoice separately? Let's say I just want to cancel the eWay bill but not the e-invoice.
So if you want to cancel it, so from the system, if you cancel, it will cancel both, because like if you are cancelling the eWay bill, it will cancel both e-invoice as well. And if you are doing it from the the eWay bill portal, then you may get a provision like you can only cancel the eWay bill itself. But from here, if you cancel the eWay bill, so it will cancel both the eWay bill as well as the invoice.
Next one, which PAI used for filing?
Sorry,
Which PAI used for filing?
PAI. So can you please elaborate?
Yeah, I think you need to elaborate the question. We'll get back to it once you do. And move on to the next one. Is system will help to create eWay bill for invoicing which are 50K above, or it's manual process?
So like see, it's not depend on the 50k above 50k low. So whenever you want to create a e-way bill, you just need to enter those details like the mode of transportation, by road, by air, like which vehicle number you need to enter. So that kind of details you need to enter. So the moment you enter those details, you can able to create the e-way bill. It's mandatory to enter those details.
Sure. Okay. If invoicing policy is enabled for the delivered quantities, how to create e-way bill when ShipRocket integration is enabled?
So see, if you are using ShipRockets and all, it would be for like it would be treated as an e-commerce services, right? So if it's a e-commerce services, then instead of creating like having the invoicing policy of delivered quantity, you can set up it as ordered quantities, because you are receiving the payments earlier on prior to that, right? So the moment you receive the payment, you can like create the invoice and you can deliver the products and you can create the e-way bill. So in that case, you should set up the invoicing policy as ordered quantities apart from the delivered quantities.
Okay. So next one, why are we not able to see the HSN code summary before filing the GSTR1?
You can able to see. So under the GSTR1, you can able to see. So if I'll go to reports, GST returns. So under the view, you can able to see the HSN summary. So this is the HSN summary for the particular period of month May. Yes.
Okay. We have a comment asking how to print an e-way bill.
How to print an e-way bill? So the moment you create the e-invoice or the e-way bill, so suppose this is the invoice which have been created, right? I can click on print. So you will be getting e-way bill acknowledgement number over here. You can enter those acknowledgement number in the GST, like in the e-way bill portal, and you can take a printout of part A and part B separately if you want to take a printout, or else these details are enough for moving the transportation like from one state to another place.
Okay. Next one.
Yes.
Should we generate e-invoice for export sale?
Should we generate e-invoice for export sales? So like if the registered customer is having a proper GST details and all, then you can create an e-invoice as well. It's not an issue. Yes.
Okay. Is the GST can calculated based on the HSN code?
Sorry?
I think they're trying to ask can GST be calculated based on HSN code?
GST can be calculated on based on HSN code. Can you please elaborate? Ask them to elaborate.
Yeah, please. This particular question, if you would elaborate, that would be great. We'll get back to it. Can we generate e-invoice inside e-way bill?
Can we generate e-invoice inside e-way bill? So like see, the procedure is same. So the moment you create the invoice, if it's a registered customer, then only you will be creating the e-invoice, and the moment you create the e-invoice, you should be transferring, like doing the transportation from one place to another place. At that moment you need to create the e-way bill itself. That's it.
Okay. How to download e-way bill copy through Odoo?
As I shown, so like see, we don't provide any specific e-way bill copy. So inside the invoice only there will be a details like the so if I'll show you, let me show you one invoice which consists of e-way bill as well as e-invoice. So this is the invoice. So if I take a printout of this, so you can able to see the e-way bill. So since it's a production like a testing environment, it shows 0. So you will be getting a alphanumerical number. So with the help of that number, you can take a printout from the e-way bill site. So over here, the e-way bill number will be mentioned until which date and which time it is valid, and you will be getting the acknowledgement number as well, and for e-invoice you will be getting this IRN and the QR code barcode details. That's it.
Okay. We have a comment saying debit notes as reversal from input not reflecting in GSTR 3B report.
So there would be some configuration you would have missed. So it differs from case to case. So if you have any concerns, you can like either raise a support ticket or you can directly like reach us out over an email as well.
Okay. Next one, IAP credit provided by Odoo or can we use own API?
No, it's provided by Odoo only. So whenever you are doing any kind of API calls, so you should purchase the IAP credits so from Odoo itself.
Next one, how to enter tax paid amount in GST and showing journals.
Sorry, tax paid?
How to enter tax paid amount in GST and showing journals.
In which GST, like what journal you do?
That's not been specified, guys. If
so can you please specify, like
yeah.
you're talking about which journal, where you need to mention that?
There's one more comment, I'm not sure what this one means either. How to directly eWay bill number in Odoo. Like
how to?
Directly eWay bill number in Odoo.
See, as I shown earlier, if you want to create a eWay bill, there are some pre-required details like the transportation mode, like it can be by air, by road. You need to enter those details, then only you will able to create the eWay bill. Apart from that, there is no any kind of other procedures for that.
Okay, move on to the next one. GST 2B bill not in Odoo getting created automatically and showing in draft when data fetched from GST portal. Why is it like that, and why we have to delete it manually if we don't want to account it?
See, so under the GSTR 2B, so it shows bills not in GSTR, right? So you have recorded those invoice, but under the GST portal, the invoice has not been recorded. It can be like for following reasons, like you fall under the monthly filing and the particular customer falls under the quarterly planning, like quarterly filing. So in that case, once he file those kind of invoices, then only it will show, it will fall under the partially match or fully match, until and unless it will show bills not in GSTR 2B.
Okay. Next one, sales credit note is not showing in tax report GST 3B. Any suggestions for that?
Sales credit note?
Sales credit note is not showing up in tax report GST 3B.
No, we need to check it out. Like, see, whenever you do the proper set of configuration, like at the time of creating the credit notes or debit notes, you need to make sure the proper contact, the IGST details and everything. So based on it only, the amounts will be reflected under the GST portal or under the GST reports.
All right. Next one?
Yes, next one.
Okay. So if we have created some bill in the past and completed my GST payment previously, then if I update GST with Odoo, what results will it show?
So like you have already published your GST details from the GST portal and again you want to fetch it in Odoo. Is that you mean?
Let me read that again. If I have created some bill in the past and completed my GST payments previous, then if I update GST with Odoo, what results it will show?
So if you have already filed like for a particular period of month, then don't need to file, no? Like it will, for whatever details, like for the particular period of month you are making those entries inside the books of accounts, that all things will be published to the GST portal. So before publishing your data to the GST portal, you can verify. So for that purpose only we have kept over here, like verify your GST details. You can see what are the invoices which you have been created and what all things you need to publish to the GST portal.
Just give me a second.
Yes.
We have a ton of questions coming in, so it's a bit hard to keep track. Okay, let's take this one. If the company doesn't fall under the criteria of eInvoice, can we file GS3 to Odoo without eInvoice generation?
Yes, you can. So you don't need to create a e-invoice. So whatever invoices you are creating, it would be a normal invoice, and you can create, like if you want to create an e-way bill through Odoo, you can create an e-way bill and you can file the GST returns also. It's not an issue. It's not mandatory like you should file e-invoice, then only you will able to file the GST returns. Either the way, like if you not fall under the e-invoice option criteria, then without filing the e-invoice, you can file the GST returns from Odoo. Yes, please.
Yeah. Can we manage multi-company? If yes, then does it attract extra charges?
So see, once you opt for the custom plan, you can able to manage multiple companies. So over here inside the database, you can see there are different companies. So in this way, you can manage multiple companies over here. So for that, you need to opt for the custom plan, not in the standard plan. It will not work.
Okay. How export sale bills show up in GST under 6A? This is an export invoice out of country sale.
Under 6A. So see, for the GST returns, we have GSTR 1, GSTR 2 and GSTR 3. So for the GSTR 6 and everything like that would be fetch fall under, you need to check those kind of things from the GST portal itself. We don't have any specific reports for that. So we have only 3 standard reports for the GST things. So that is GSTR 1, GSTR 2B and GSTR 3.
Next one?
Yes, please.
Okay. How can I get RCM data in GSTR 3B report?
So RCM data in
GSTR 3B report.
So you mean like the reverse charge entries, I guess. So can you please elaborate?
Yeah, this one again, if you could elaborate this question better.
Is it reverse charge, like the invoices which you have been raised, it has been reversed? That sort of details you want to check under the GST portal. So if you can elaborate, I can take that further.
Yeah, we'll take the next one in the meantime. In GSTR 2B, if some input is blocked, then how we put the entry?
Sorry, in GSTR?
In GSTR 2B, if some input is blocked, then how do we put in the entry?
So like what inputs has been blocked?
It's not been specified.
So specify like what type of errors you are getting inside at the time of matching the GSTR 2B. Based on that only we can able to take that further.
Yeah.
So you should be specified like what error, what type of issues you are getting at the time of creating the GSTR 2B or something.
Okay, we'll take the next one. How to generate an e-invoice for services?
Yes, the same thing how I have created for purchase, like for products. The same way you can create for services. So for product, it will be HSN code, and for services, it would be SAC code. So that's the thing. So under the product configuration, we have the product master over here. So you can see if I take it as a service. So let's assume this is a service, and over here I can add a cost and I can add a sale price and I can enter the SSC code. So based on that, the same procedure how I created the e-invoice for the products, same thing I can create it for services as well.
Okay. We'll take the next one.
Yes, please.
If I'm selecting the HSN code, the GST will automatically get fetched. I think this is a question.
So if you enter the HSN code.
If I'm selecting the HSN code, the GST will automatically get fetched.
No, you need to enter the HSN code. So suppose this HSN code is already there. Suppose like I am entering that. It will not fetch the taxes. You need to enter the taxes over here. So this HSN SSC code is just a verification like what all things are there. It will fetch from the GST portal. That's it. So you need to mention what are the different type of tax, like it can be taxes are applied on that if it is cess, TDS, TCS. So all those taxes apart from it you need to mention over here. So based on that only at the time of creating the invoice it will fetch automatically.
Okay. There's a comment saying, please give us a video for GSTR 3B return for checking with 2B and Odoo purchase register. Your purchase register is not columnar and sales register also. Tax call not showing together.
So see, so specific for the reports GSTR 3B, that is a consolidated report which you get from the GST portal. So from Odoo, what you can do is like you can match your GSTR 1 and you can match your GSTR 2B reports. Based on that, whatever closing you are doing from the GST portal, that same thing you need to make those entries inside the GST 3B detail. So let me take you again. So if I open this particular GST 3B reports, I can verify those details from the GST portal and how much amount I am paying to the government. So I need to map those accounts and I can post those entries so that the amounts which will be like one will be debited and one will be credited. So that tax report will be mapped. So these reports you will be getting from the GST portal itself, not from Odoo, since we don't have any kind of specific format for that.
Next one.
Yes.
Is it possible that outstat invoices create with GST only?
Sorry?
Yeah, this one's not clear. I'll just read exactly what's written. Is it possible that outstat invoices create with IGST only? Then why mistake done?
Where the mistake was?
Yeah,
so can you please elaborate that?
Okay. I think there's a follow-up question on the FedEx DHL part that you had explained, which reads, but FedEx or DHL is based in India, not overseas.
So it's like you are doing a domestic transactions or you are doing international transit, depends on that.
Yeah, I think it would be better if they clarify.
Yes.
Yeah. API access is not available or user expiry duration is less than or equal to authentication token expiry duration.
So like at the time of registering the eInvoice, eWay bill or GST return, where you are exactly getting this error.
Yeah, the time has not been mentioned again. So guys, please be very specific. Yes. Because we need as much context as possible for these. I'll go to the next one in the meantime.
Yes, please.
Some of the vendors are filing quarterly, which is why some of the invoices are showing under not in GSTR2. Do I need to set to those invoices in draft or cancel those invoices?
No, it's a legal invoice. No, then you can keep it same. You can file the GST returns for those invoices also. The moment the vendor files the GST, then you can settle, like you can claim those amount.
Okay. Next one, please confirm how to file GSTR1 for multiple GSTIN or of same customer, different state GSTIN under same customer, different delivery address having different GSTIN.
See, if the customer is having different GST number, it would be, you will be creating multiple invoices. So if it is of same state, it will fall under CGST, SGST. If it is in different state, it will follow under the IGST, right? So based on that only, in the GSTR reports, GSTR1 reports, it will fetch whatever the B2B intrastate or interstate. So based on that, you can able to file. It's already specific, like if it's a B2B like interstate, it will come under the IGST or CGST, SGST. So whenever you are creating the invoice, it will bifurcate based on the state of the company and the location, delivery location of the particular customer.
Okay, quickly move on to the next one. Once e-invoice generated, how can we edit our invoice?
So you can amend any kind of changes in the e-invoice, either like you can cancel those invoice and again you can make those any kind of changes, and again you need to fulfill, like again you need to process the same process for the e-invoice. First you need to cancel and then you need to raise it again.
Okay. Even after completion of part B, will we be able to cancel the e-invoice?
No, like if you would have filed the GST returns and all, right, so that like after that, if you want to cancel the e-invoice, then it's a part of discussion, like why you want to cancel the invoice. So like we need to understand like the particular use case of what they are facing.
Okay, if transporter cancelled the transfer products, then how we can add new transporter details, send the details to eWay bill?
The same way, like you can change the manage by transporter, you can change the transporter name and the system will create an alert to the particular transporter.
Okay. A quick question is, how is the pricing for IAP credits?
So as I mentioned, the prices for the IAP credits are this. So for 5,000 credits it's 50 euro and for 10,000 credits it's 90 euro. So for each credit it's almost around 80 paisa.
Okay.
So the more the number of credits you purchase, the price will be low, like the e-invoice will be low.
Next one, HSN code summary. We do not have view option. It shows check status.
So where?
I think it's a matter of
Yes,
configuration and clarification. Okay, I'll move to the next one.
Yes,
if I cancel the eWay bill, then how to generate eWay bill for the same bill?
Again, like you will be getting the option of send eWay bill. So you need to fill those details and you can click on send eWay bill. So I'll be confirming this. I'll be entering those details and I can click on send eWay bill and I can just refresh. So in the right side you can see the log, like the e-invoice has been created and the eWay bill also has been created. So like within no time you can, with the help of Odoo, you can create e-invoice or eWay bill.
Okay. In eWay bill, can you show the automatically calculated total kilometers?
If you enter any specific kilometer, don't enter any specific kilometer, then system will give you an error. Suppose, let me create. B2B trusted. I'm confirming this. Let's assume I'm mentioning 350 kilometer. So since it's a production like a test server, it is allowing, or else like system will give you an alert, it will not allow you to create the particular eWay bill. It will ask you to enter the predefined distance. So if you don't know the distance, you can keep it as 0 and you can raise the eWay bill. That's it.
Okay. Can we edit the eWay bill after cancelled eWay bill?
Can we edit the eWay bill after cancelling?
I guess they're asking if they can edit the bill once they cancel it.
So like if they're cancelling the eWay bill, they need to create a new eWay bill again then.
Right. Okay. If we put HSN code at any product or service, it should fetch the GST rate for that HSN code.
No, like we don't have that feature as of now. So that HSN validation is something like if you are managing like 4 digit, 6 digit or 8 digit, so it will give you the HSN description. So this HSN code differs to particular description, that's it. So it will not fetch the GST percentage as of now.
Okay. Debit notes are not fetched in eligible ITC report.
So see, it's again a part of like a system configuration, like how they are creating the debit notes, like on what basis they are creating the debit notes.
Okay. How to report the ferret charges in an e-invoice?
How to report the
ferret charges?
Freight charges in the e-invoice. So you can add a line item as a freight charges, whatever charges you are paying as a freight, and then you can raise the invoice. So under the invoice product line, you can add a product line as freight charges and then you can raise an e-invoice. So freight charges will be added as a service product. You can add the GST tax percentage, whatever tax percentage you are paying for that, and then you can create the e-invoice.
Can we configure tax particular state based? I guess
Tax particular state based.
I think they want to know if they can configure a tax based on the state.
So with the help of fiscal position, you can manage, like if it is falls under the same state, it will fetch CGST and SGST. If it is of different state, it will fetch IGST. So with the help of fiscal position, you can set up those kind of things.
Okay. I see a lot of questions that are repetition of what you have already answered, so we'll try to prioritize the ones that okay. System is not matching bill amount with GST portal fetching data with total bill amount after TDS or other deductions. EG bill amount 500 less, and then they've given some specific number 10 490 bill booked in system on portal 500. So I guess there's a discrepancy of 10 rupees somewhere.
So you need to amend those kind of changes, since like they have filed the bill like with the lesser amount, then you need to make those kind of changes in your bills. Like at the time of uploading the vendor bills, you need to check those kind of things, and before filing the GST, you need to make those kind of changes. So that's why these reports are mandatory. Like it will show you the partially match bills not in GSTR2 bills not in Odoo. So whenever you file the GSTR2B, this all are the things you need to taken into the consideration. So once everything is matched properly, then only you can able to file the GST returns.
Okay. If a vendor didn't find his GSTR1, didn't file, I guess, yeah, file GSTR1 or filled its returns late, such that ITC of that vendor will be visible in next month, in that case, how to deal with those invoices for GSTR3B return?
So the moment the vendor files the GST, then only you will able to claim the GST. Until and unless the vendor is not filing, you need to tell them to file the GST, then only you will able to claim that particular tax percentage.
We have currently started using Odoo, and right now we are in need of a consultant. I guess you need to contact support and
yes, like you can contact sales or you can contact support for any kind of.
Okay. How to generate e-invoice for vendor debit note?
How to generate
e-invoice for vendor debit note?
So the same thing. So if I go to accounting, I can add a product over here. So over here you will be getting the GST invoice option, and then you can able to the same process like at a time while we used to follow for creating the invoice. Yes.
Okay, I think it's about time. We have got a lot of responses, and it's very exciting to see all of you are so engaged. I'm sure you got to learn a lot. In case there's a query that was not clarified, or if you need more answers, we have shared Jayesh's email already in the chat. You can get back to him and ask away your questions. He'll be more than happy to help.
Yes, so whatever queries you have, you can just write an email to me. I'll forward it to the concerned team, and we will revert you on that. And along with that, I do have a continuous session for tomorrow and after tomorrow. So we'll be I'll be talking towards the TDS TCS kind of things tomorrow.
Yeah, so tune in for the later sessions as well, tomorrow and day after tomorrow. We'll notify you of the details via email as always. And thanks a ton for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you everyone.